We dated a few girls, actually, and then we met Alyssa, and she took a liking to both of us right away and took completely naturally to polyamory. And then about 6 months ago, we met Mary Ashley, who introduced herself as being polyamorous.
So I met Joshua first through a mutual friend of ours.
And then on our very first date, he told me he was dating Sarah and showed me a picture, and I was like, okay. And like I already knew I was bisexual, so I was like, you know, we can try this.
The first time she came over, I had to leave the next day, and I actually just left her at my house, and her and Sarah hung out.
Yeah, like 3 days.
And I was kind of
into dating.
texting like, hey, is
weekends.
everything cool? And they're like, yeah, we're just hanging out.
Yeah, like went to the mall together and everything was good.
Yeah.
So it just kind of progressed from there. Of course, they told me about you and Alyssa that night and said you have to meet my girlfriends. And it's a true sign of a real poly person.
And it's been history ever since. Started picking up beautiful additions along the way, and how could I possibly complain?
We've realized that everybody brings strengths to the group that one other person might not necessarily have. And that's one of the beautiful things about polyamory is that if you love something about somebody, you can love that about them. And if you love something else about someone else, you can love that about them, and it's okay. And nobody gets upset about it. One thing, too, that I would mention is that I love is the interaction between everybody, because some of us are neater than others, and some of us are more like free spirit, and some of us are better at budgeting money, and some of us are better at spending money. And together, we sort of pick up where the others maybe slack a little bit.
It's great because I've always known that it's hard to get everything you need from one person. I've been in polyamorous relationships before, and it just never worked as well as it has with this one. They just all have their qualities. Time to just enjoy each other's qualities at different times. You know, when we want to talk fashion, hang with her. When we want to talk gardening and earthy stuff, Joshua. And we want to talk getting stuff done and motivating these two to do things.
When we're herding the cats.
So it's just,
It really does take away from any boredness.
it makes life easier.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard
really does.
to expect so much from one
It's
person.
not fair to expect to get everything you
Right.
need from one person.
And then the other one that I get is, you know, Joshua is like, you know, controlling all of us and like forcing all of us to be in this
Get that
like
along.
relationship. And I'm like, no, definitely not. Like I chose him like by my own free will, and I love both of them. It's not like, you know, we're all just here for Joshua. We don't love each other too. So I think people just don't quite understand that it's not, you know, some kinky thing that Joshua has us doing, or, you know, that we got sucked into.
Forced
It's like
into
a
it.
conscious choice that we're making on purpose.
And I would never want someone to stay with me because, well, she feels stuck. She can't leave. She can't go be with someone else. These women are here because they want to be on this couch with me. They chose that. It's not because, well, they're financially dependent or, you know, I own them because they're my wives or something like that. It's because they want to be here. And that's why we're all having so much fun, because we chose this.
You know, a lot of people ask if we're Mormon or polygamous, and we're all here by force, and, you know, it's like we couldn't be more free. I mean, I don't understand. I've never had a guy that's less jealous and lets me do whatever I want with all open honesty. People associate a lot with polygamy or religion.
And they do associate it a lot with kink.
Yeah.
They think that we're sexaholics.
Yeah, something
or
wrong with us.
slutty, you know. And I'm actually quite modest.
One of the most beautiful things about polyamory is the openness of the communication. You can really easily, once you are that open about your feelings and your desires, you can articulate your expectations, and everybody's needs are different. When people find out that we are polyamorous, a lot of the, or one of the objections that they raise is, well, I could never share my boyfriend.
Yeah.
You get a lot more when you open yourself up to that possibility.
I think a lot of jealousy is it's just fear. And we have a lot less to be fearful about because we're a lot more open.
Yeah.
You know, once you take away that monogamous expectation, then all of these little problems that, dissolve
Yes.
marriages and people kill over it. Once you realize that fairy tale story is not the only story, then so many different worlds open up for you.
Yeah. When jealousy is not an issue, it's amazing how easy relationships can work. When things like tedious little stupid problems are gone, of who are you talking to, who are you texting, what were you looking at online, who are you with this weekend, just the questions that dominate hours of your time and just take away so much of your emotional energy to be able to enjoy.
A lot of people just don't know any better. They're raised up into thinking, I own this person and this person is not going to be touched or whatever by another person. But we don't own anyone. We are all here and happy because we're here of our own free will. We're not signed into a contract. We don't own anyone, and the second that we start feeling like that, that's when problems start to arise.
Yeah. Jealousy is it's a force that tears people apart. And there's a way to work through it, and I don't think humans are naturally jealous. People think it's an emotion that we cannot get over. It is inherent in romantic relationships, and it's natural and it's supposed to be there. And that if you don't get jealous, there's something missing. And it's like, what?
We've made a lifestyle choice, and it's our sexual preference, and that's what we want to do, and hopefully we will see more acceptance.
Gay marriage has been legalized. Like, nobody cares when I say I have a girlfriend. But then when they find out I have two and a boyfriend, then it's like, oh, now it's a big deal. And it's like, why does it matter that I have more than one, but it doesn't matter that I have one? So I think that it's going to move in the right direction. It's just going to take time.
I was married 11 years. Did the whole high school kids early, sweetheart, blah, 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 and grew apart, was miserable. I was living up to the tradition, I was living up to biting my tongue. I was living up to not having my needs fulfilled. She was doing the same thing. And at the end, it was horrible. Like, we didn't know each other.
So I was just in a regular dating type of scene, and for me, I wasn't just looking for the, boy meets girl, girl loves boy, and then they have babies type of thing. I was more looking for a deeper connection, and that connection, a guy couldn't just feel that connection that I was looking for. And so that's when I kind of transitioned from the regular boy meets girl to boy meets girl, girl meets girl. And that's kind of how I started. I needed certain needs to be filled that the normal tradition couldn't fill.
For me, I've come from a very strict, household, and so traditional relationships was what was expected. And I just found that in all of them, there was a big void, and my needs weren't being met, and I was just trying to do everything to satisfy him, and nothing I did was never enough, and I wasn't happy with that. And I just found that every guy I always dated was always cheating on me, and I couldn't get past why. And I was married before, and I have a son, and then once he was old enough to go and visit his dad, he's a teenager, then that's when I kind of started exploring with girls, and they were filling that void, but then at the same time I was missing, the masculine part of my life that I was really needing. That's kind of how I need both.
We went on a first little date, and
hit it off.
then we went on another date, and then another one.
And now here we are.
You can't explain to somebody what's already set in their vanilla minds. It's unfortunate. I think it's very sad that they're judging, and where they're in a traditional relationship and they're cheating and they're not happy and they're doing bad things outside of their relationship, but they're hypocritical to you when you are actually in an honest, open, loving, fulfilling each other's needs and actually genuinely love each other versus, traditional that's accepted and it's, expected. And I think it's very sad. It's very sad.
I think they don't want to break the tradition. We're so stuck on the way, this has to be that way.
Exactly what I wanted. There was no judgment. It was very open. It was very casual and natural and organic, and it's perfect.
It worked.
Yes, it worked for all of us. Perfect.
We're not looking for just, you know,
A sexual connection.
right,
It's
just
more
going out, finding different girls, finding different people. Like, it's more of a home
Intimacy.
style, you know, family style living that we do.
Relationship isn't so boxed in as people think it is. Like, oh, you know, you meet a guy, you meet a girl, you guys kiss, it's not.
Get married,
Yeah, it's-
dog, picket fence.
I just want somebody that I can be comfortable with and just be myself with and loved, you know, and be loved unconditionally and like organically, something that just happens naturally and it, you know, it's not forced.
Right.
And when I met the both of them, it's nice because you get, you know, the companionship of a girlfriend, and then you also get like, women are very sensual and beautiful and sexual, and it's like your best friend. You get to do everything with your best friend, and then you always share your toys with your best friend. So
The balance is just that. Like, each girl brings something different to the table.
So when it comes down to like jealousy and things in that nature, I feel we have to be very open as far as our communication. So we basically have this feeling, this rule of if you feel some kind of
Say
way
it.
to voice it. You know, no one's gonna know how you feel if you don't say it.
And that's
So-
honest. Like, if you hear us conversate, if you hear us talking, that's just how we talk. Like, that's how we deal. That's how we react. It's better to like be so open and communicate well than to hold it in and then, you know, let it build up and build up. And that's not like why we live this lifestyle. We don't live this lifestyle for that. Like, for the tradition, hold it in, do what the other person says, and you just know we all have feelings and we all want to be, you know,
able to express those
those feelings, you know, and they are equal. So it's not like one is different from the other. We're all the same. We all are respected the same, and it's a balance to that, you know.
in an open relationship, there's less jealousy than in a traditional relationship. And I feel like when there's more than, you know, just the traditional two people, then if there's a third person, then it helps people, you know, see different
that
points of
balance.
view.
Right.
And it kind of calms, you know,
And that helps me
calms
out
it a little
lot,
bit.
to have the balance with the, you know, the different personalities, and then the third person kind of comes in, and that's not like
Kind of mediates a little
Right,
bit, but
it's
it always
not
comes
like-
from a living place.
exactly.
It's either, oh, they are working girls, or oh, he must just a negative thought of
He's
oh,
their sugar daddy, or
yes.
he's this or that, and it's so off
what
of
it is.
what it is. You can't tell me how I feel, and that's what everybody wants to tell you, and that's so false. Like, you don't experience my feelings. You don't know how I feel inside. So how can you tell me how I should live?
How I'm supposed to live.
Right. And if I'm happy with whoever I'm happy with,
Whatever the scenario is, if that's what you love, then you should be.
yeah, it should all be accepted.